Deicide, addressing the controversy. For many bands, the album artwork is just as important as the music. That is why recently, the conversation surrounding AI-generated artwork has been increasingly divisive. While some use AI for inspiration, others rely almost entirely on it for their artwork. But there are those who live somewhere in between, such as the case for Deicide's new album, Banished by Sin. When the artwork was first shared, the internet exploded with accusations of AI artwork. Vocalist and bassist Glenn Benton has worked on many of the band's album artwork for over 30 years. Looking at the covers, it's clear that Deicide has embraced a variety of mediums ranging from photography to mixed media, and was even an early adopter of Photoshop, which was also heavily criticized at the time. So when it came time to design their latest album, the idea was to pay homage to their first album by recreating the medallion. While the project started out as Photoshop work, Glenn did confirm that it was touched up with AI, but he doesn't apologize for it. It's the latest tool in digital creation, so why not embrace it? He is not alone. As AI artwork gets to become more and more common in metal, what are your thoughts? Is it worth fighting off AI's impact, or is it time to embrace it? Archspire plays fast as fuck, but exactly how fast is fast as fuck? Well, to answer that, let me first introduce you to a little device that many musicians ignore, the metronome. Its job is to help you stay on track when playing music. It's currently set to 60 beats per minute, or BPMs for short. This is what 120 BPMs sound like, now 250, and now this is what 400 BPMs sound like. Hard to imagine a band that could play that fast, right? Enter Archspire. On the band's fourth album, Bleed the Future, the band's goal was to sound heavier, get more technical, and yes, play faster. This led to the album consisting of 8 songs ranging from 186 BPMs up to 400 BPMs. Okay, so they recorded fast songs, but surely they can't play it live, right? Yes, in fact they do. That is because on top of each musician being extremely proficient, they only write what they know they can play live. They even make use of in-ears with click tracks to guarantee that they are playing up to the speed you hear on the album. Go ahead and throw away any misconceptions that the Canadian band is faking their performances. This is not AI-generated music or pre-programmed digital instruments. It's just 5 skilled musicians who know how to stay tech. Today, you know Tosin Abasi as the virtuoso guitarist of Animals' Leaders, but can you believe he almost gave up his passion for guitar? In the early 2000s, a metalcore band known as Reflux would showcase Tosin as a 7-string guitar player who played aggressive rhythms and crazy fast sweep-pick guitarist and producer who lived nearby that was making studio-quality music from his bedroom. This led to Tosin meeting Misha Mensur. The two quickly became friends, but eventually, Tosin would find he was no longer content with just headbanging and shredding. Being that he was self-taught, Tosin felt that there was much more for him to learn about guitar, and so he quit the band to attend Atlanta Institute of Music and Media. But as time went on, Tosin felt discouraged that the type of music he wanted to create was falling on deaf ears. So he considered putting down his guitar and leaving everything behind. Fortunately, Misha told him he was crazy. He was able to get Tosin to let him help produce some new demos, and eventually, his first solo project, Animals as Leaders. Now, years later, Tosin is celebrated by many fans and fellow guitarists as a true musical prodigy, proving that patience and dedication and the help of a good friend can truly pay off. Periphery. Djent is not a genre, or is it? Technically, Djent is just an onomatopoeia that is used to describe the sound of a chugging guitar while palm muting complex polyrhythms. But should that sound really constitute as a genre? Well, Periphery has always had an interesting love-hate relationship with the word. Founding member Misha Mensur still gets blamed to this day for popularizing the term. But after years of forums and guitar enthusiasts normalizing the term, Djent did in fact become a genre. So then, why did Periphery call their latest album Djent is not a genre? Well, it sounds better than these, which were all actual contenders for the album title. There's even a typo in their previous album. Clearly, the band takes naming the albums lightly. Well, it turns out it was supposed to be sort of a meta joke as they accept their pivotal role in popularizing Djent. But also, they thought it would be funny to see the album posted somewhere reading Periphery 5, Djent is not a genre, Djent. Fortunately, more thought was put into composing the music for the album, which took nearly 3 years to write and brings to the foreground all of the technical musicianship and dynamic spectacle that you've come to expect from Periphery. What the fuck is BabyMetal? Alright, stick with me as we talk about the Japanese group known as BabyMetal, the pioneers of kawaii metal. As a contrast in their name would suggest, BabyMetal is the culmination of cutesy J-pop singing and dancing fused with dark imagery and heavy metal riffage. According to the lore, it is BabyMetal's destiny to serve the fox god, as it provides them with divine messages to spread to the world. The chosen ones consist of Tsu Metal, Moa Metal, and Yui Metal, later replaced with Momo Metal. They are joined on stage by Kami Band, who are essentially session musicians. In 2015, the group exploded in popularity with the release of Gimme Chocolate, which helped to garner them a dedicated fan base known only as The One. So, are they metal? Well, allow me to play devil's advocate, or fox god's advocate. The group's high-energy performances consist of jumping, headbanging, screaming, and occasionally crucifying, all while acting as a walking advertisement for Hot Topic. Tsu Metal even has a glaring death stare that'll remind you of the first time you told your mother no. They have toured with the likes of Metallica and Korn, and performed on stage alongside Rob Halford and Bring Me the Horizon. And they've been doing all of this for over 10 years. So, is this group of kawaii performers metal? I guess only the fox god knows. foremost, Ozzy Osbourne and the Bat Incident. It's hard to think of a frontman who's had as much of an impact on heavy music as Ozzy Osbourne, and although his history stretches back to the 60s with Black Sabbath, there's one story in particular that has defined his career as a performer. In 1982, during a performance in Des Moines, Iowa, an obscure object was thrown onto the stage near Ozzy. He picked up what he thought looked like a fake toy bat, so naturally, he stuck the head in his mouth and chomped down, only to realize it was real after he tasted blood. The moment led to Ozzy getting painful rabies shots, but also catapulted Ozzy into the spotlight, sparking endless debates and constant attention throughout his career. There were times when he would embrace it, but there were also times when he was just plain tired of hearing about it. But for fans, it's hard to imagine Ozzy without the Bat Incident. Over 40 years later, the story lives on and was even commemorated with a plush toy bat on the anniversary of the momentous event. So while Ozzy may always be known as the Prince of Darkness, he'll also always be remembered as the frontman who bit the head off of a bat.